All right. So welcome everybody to Money Talk this morning. And as you guys seen, a lot of announcements for this morning. And I just want to talk about what is that we're going to cover this morning. So today, I have the pleasure of teaching you guys about the dime method. Oh man, I love talking about the dime method. Because once you understand the dime method, you get to understand a lot more about finance, right? And it's important that we learn about finance so we can be in a better position to earn. Understanding how money works is very, 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 very important. And it's important that we do such. And it's important that we understand how to do such at all times. So here's the thing. If you truly want to learn how and why you must own life insurance, you got to understand why. Remember, we talked about this. If you don't know why, the how doesn't count. And it's important for you to know the why, so that way the how is a lot more easier to really know how to fulfill certain things in your life. So let's talk about the dime method. What is the dime method? So, the dime method is a very, 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 very important method to know and to learn, so that way you can be in a position to not be tricked, fooled, or taken advantage of, right? Because you know what the thing that I'm looking at? I'm looking at the fact that a lot of people own life insurance. And you would think, or you would say things like, I already have life insurance. I'm good. Remember what I said to you guys. The word I'm good is a broke man's word. It's a poor man's word. It's not a word that wealthy people use. Wealthy people don't use I'm good. Wealthy people are like the Curious George. They always want to know more. They want to learn. They're always open to information. They're always open to wealth and knowledge and understanding, right? And the reason why they're this way is because they understand the fact that wealth building, hear me out now, wealth building is not a multiplication. It's not a should I or should not. It's a when and where, right? It's a when and where. And the when is always now, and the where is when they understand how money works and learn the wealth formula. So the dime method is important for every one of you to learn, so that way you can know why you need to own life insurance. So what does dime stands for? Dime stands for debt. Dime stands for income. Dime stands for balance of your mortgage. These are all the different things that dime stands for. And it's important that you know this. Because if you don't know what dime is, then how can you run a dime method? Right? You can't run a dime method if you don't know what dime is. So when you're talking about owning life insurance, and you're talking about you want to be secure, right? How can you be secure, and how could you be set if you didn't learn the dime method and the importance of understanding what is the dime method? So once again, dime stands for debt, income, mortgage, and educational planning for your children or your grandchild. Okay? That's the dime. But here's the thing that I want you guys to think about. I want you to think about, well, why do you need to own life insurance? So anytime you ask yourself that question, why do I need to own life insurance again? Why must I have life insurance again? Just remember the word dime. When you talk to your friends about owning life insurance, don't say, hey, do you have life insurance? Say, hey, do you have something in place where if you die, it will pay off all your debts? Hey, do you have something in place where if something happens to you, do you have 10 times your income saved up already? Hey, if something happens to you, is the balance of the mortgage of your house will be paid off and your family still won't miss your income? Hey, do you have something in place where you have enough money saved up in place right now if something happens to you and your children want to go to school in the future? That's how I talk to my people, right? I talk to my friends about that. I'll talk to them about, hey, what happened if you just die? You can't talk to people. Nobody wants to talk about when they die. Nobody wants to talk about when they're going to die. No. But there's a saying, right? Don't be laughing at me now. There is a saying that says that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Can you imagine that? Imagine the fact that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die to go there. So what does that tell me? That tells me that nobody wants to talk about dying. But can we talk about planning? Can we plan for death? Can we plan for the unexpected moments? Right? Can we plan for these things? And the answer is yes. Yes, we can. It's not a question. It's a yes. It's a I better. That's what it is. It's one of those I better plan for the future. Right? I better have things in place for the future. And if you don't have things in place for the future, then what is going to happen to our families? What's going to happen to our children? What's going to happen to our loved ones? What's going to happen to our spouses? Right? I always say, if your spouse passed away right now, is it just him physically or she physically going to miss? Are you going to miss them financially too? Right? But these are things that we got to talk about, and nothing is wrong with talking about these things. I think the lack of conversations about these things makes it very hard for us to really, truly do the right things, right? And we want everybody to understand. So here's the thing. Whenever any insurance agent or any financial professionals come to your house to talk to you about life insurance, you better make sure that you know what you need. And the way you know what you need is by calculating your dime. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to be so honest with yourself so that way you don't get oversold or undersold when it comes to having the right kind of life insurance. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean that, guys, if someone comes to you and say, hey, you need $1 million in life insurance. Now, is life insurance, $1 million in life insurance, a bad thing? No, of course. That's the goal, man. Get more as you can if you can afford it. Right? Get more. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the best way to pass on tax-free wealth. You hear what I'm saying to you? Tax-free wealth. Your family don't even have to have a will in place to avoid anything. No, you just put a beneficiary. Due to the tax code 7702, Section A, life insurance is not even considered an asset. Right? So the thing that you got to look at is understanding why you need to own life insurance. And I always tell people, if they know why, the how will come. And the why you need to have life insurance is not because you're worried about if you die, guys. You own life insurance because you want to make sure that if you pass away, your debt, not the debt that your spouse acquired with you. I'm talking about your student loan debt. Your spouse had nothing to do with none of that. I'm talking about debt you had before you even got married. I'm talking about things that you have done in your lifetime. But yet still, you're in this relationship. And here you are with all these, what people say, baggage. All this baggage. But you didn't take care of your baggage. And then when you pass away, because they're married to you, it's their baggage now. That's not even right. Right? Who agree with me? Is that right to leave all your baggage to someone else? Right? That's not right. That's not fair. So even if you don't believe in life insurance, get it if you got some baggage. How about if you're co-signing for your children's student loan, but your child don't even have life insurance? And if they pass away, that debt become your debt. But yet still, you don't believe in life insurance. That would make no sense. But owning life insurance is not about owning it because you're thinking about that you're going to die. Owning life insurance is about thinking about the fact that, well, how much debt do I have out there? And what kind of debt too? Like some of your credit cards and auto debts, those may get like exempt. But let's talk about your student loans. Let's talk about debts that you probably co-signed for or someone co-signed for you, right? It's not fair. Because now if someone co-signed something for you and that is a debt and you didn't put things in place, now that person's debt, your debt that they co-signed for you on the strength of, hey, I'm going to help my friend out, and then you pass away, and then what? Now that's their debt. They didn't ask for that. They were just helping you out. But what if you had life insurance? What if you had life insurance? You calculated all your debt. You pass away. They know that when you passed away, you had enough life insurance to take care of all your debt. Your co-signers are not at liability for anything. Right? These are the things, guys, why we say build wealth with responsibility. Because you've got to be responsible when you are alive and when you die. That's why you don't want people to come to your funeral like, so that girl that girl owe me some money. I co-signed for this debt. And she get laid up in this casket, and these creditors calling me now for this debt. I was just helping her out. And here she is dead. But all that debt is fully alive. So your friend came and mourn you. She like malicing over you. She miss you, but she mad at you at the same time. You know how many people die and they don't even get the proper love when they pass away because everybody's thinking about all the debt that they had? Oh my God, mom had all this debt? It went from, oh my God, mom is dead, to mom had all this debt? Oh my God, mom was such a great person. Oh my God, I can't believe mom was so irresponsible. Why is it not my debt? This is not my problem. She's a grown woman. Guys, these are things that we got to make sure that we cover all our debts. How about your income? You have children. You have a spouse. I sat down with this married couple once, right? And I was putting together her dime method. And I was like, thank God I didn't marry her. So, she said to me, what happened to your spouse, if you pass away? She's like, no, he's good. He'd be good with one year of my income. I don't know about giving him 10 years because he's probably going to remarry anyway. I was like, really? But what if he died? I asked her, what if he died? Would you want him to give you time? She's like, absolutely. I was like, the double standards. Don't be laughing at me, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about, all right? You see, guys, we got to really start caring for others. I always say, don't die and become a memory, but die and become a legacy. Right? Don't die and become a memory. Die and become a legacy. Because if you don't become a legacy and you become just a memory, you will only be remembered by one generation. But if you become a legacy, you will be here for a lifetime. How many of us know people like J.D. Rockefeller? How many of us know J.P. Morgan? How many of us know Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill? We will remember people like the Carters, right? How many of us know the Mandelas, right? The Malcolm X's or the Martin Luther Kings, the Oprahs, and Oprah not even dead. She's a living legacy, right? So don't become a memory, become a legacy. So your income should be here. Every year they think about like, oh my God, I miss my wife. You should leave them in a place where it's hard for them to date somebody else because the money that they receive, they feel guilty. They're like, I can't be with nobody spending my wife money. It's my wife. She loved me so much, she left me on this. The mortgage is paid off. Or vice versa, husband. I always say, man, I want to leave my wife so much money if I die before her that it's hard for her to move on, thinking nothing. Every time she spend that money, she's like, Keyon. Every time she look at her big house, Keyon. Everywhere she turns, it's Keyon. Even if she did get a man, that man gonna be like, hey, how you got all this? Well, it's my husband before you. His name is Keyon. That's his picture too over the fireplace. That man will forever remember me because every time he get a piece of that money, he's like, thank you, Keyon. I don't know you, but I love you, man. I love you. My thing is, are you going to be a memory or are you going to be a legacy? Guys, you got to choose, right? Life is about choices. But not only that, what if you pass away? Is the mortgage going to be paid off? Do you have enough coverage where the mortgage will be paid off if anything happens to you, right? What about the mortgage? Is the mortgage paid off? What about if it's your kids' college planning? Do you have enough coverage to take care of that? All of these things, guys, is so important because owning life insurance is not about when you die. Owning life insurance is about creating a legacy and don't just become a memory. Don't forget that. Don't you forget that. Right? So what is DIME? Let's recap on DIME again. DIME stands for debt, income, right? Debt, income, and balance of your mortgage, and the educational planning for your children. You got to make sure that you have money for all of these events, no matter what, dead or alive. All right? So I hope that helps you guys to understand the DIME method and the importance of it. And what I like to do is open up the call for anybody that have any questions or comments. If you'd like to share, please, all you got to do is press yes or raise your hands, and I'll gladly call on you so you can share. I want to hear from you guys this morning. Anybody you'd like to share? If you'd like to share or ask a question or share some of your feedback on today's talk about DIME method, just press the yes button, or you can press the raise your hand feature, because I want to hear from you guys this morning. What's your big takeaway this morning pertaining to the DIME method? And does it help you to understand, to calculate, and why you need to calculate how much coverage you need? So anybody would like to share? Call is now open. You can just raise your hands, and I'll call on you, and I'll ask you to unmute. All right. Good morning, Miss Victoria. How you doing this morning? You're live.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Keyon. Great presentation this morning. I was laughing so hard. It makes you take a look. Do you want to leave a memory or a legacy? And you're absolutely correct. It makes you say, get your things in order. So I am so appreciative for that lesson on the DIME method. And those are things that I guess you can say no matter how old you are, once you become aware of something, you got to quickly put that in motion. So thank you so much. Awesome call this morning. somebody ought to have some type of takeaway from this. I'm telling you, wow, that was funny. You're leaving your wife a lot, and then if she decides to marry and look up, your name will be in somebody's mouth that didn't even know you. That's a good one. Maybe that's why I didn't remarry, because I don't want nobody else's debt. Good job.
You got to leave back that legacy. Let me see here. We got Miss Tiffany. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I got on late, but it's all good because everything I heard was amazing. I love the analogies that you used this morning. I feel like these conversations are a constant reminder for me to stay focused, right? To stay focused on the goal of leaving a legacy and leaving wealth. This conversation actually, reminded me of my family. My great grandmother passed away at 99, only to find out that she had already paid for all her funeral arrangements and everything. The limo was paid for. All we had to do was show up, right?
Mm.
you know the family didn't have to worry about anything. Mind you, she had been planning, like you said, for probably 20 years or more. You know what I mean? And it wasn't something that the family had to worry about. We just had to show up and be there. you know I think of my my great uncle who passed away unexpectedly, and we find out after, paid all the church's debts, paid, just cleared everything up.
Mm.
So nobody, you didn't, you if you were talking bad about him before, you had nothing to say at this point, right?
Right.
so so what you're saying is so true, and I feel like we have to get out of the mindset of bridging the income gap and get in the mindset of bridging the wealth gap, right? And really seeing insurance as, okay, the longer I live, the more legacy I'll be able to leave. The longer I live, the greater the opportunity for me to bridge that wealth gap for my children and for future generations, right? And then
Right.
setting up other things, of course, just to make sure that your family doesn't squander your legacy. So thank you again for that
Seriously.
share. This is amazing.
Amazing.
Absolutely, man. Money Talk is here
Woo!
to empower. I see Miss Sheila Forbes. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. And I had to make a comment on this one this morning because I have ran into couples like that too, who's like, they like, oh no, I ain't leaving them nothing. Oh no, I just want enough to be buried. But they don't think about, but what if you are the one who is left behind? Because they always think about, oh yeah, I'm gonna die, but I don't want to leave them nothing. But what if you are the one who is left behind? And so that's what I love about our education, because it really opens people's mind. People are so one track mind. They hear something and they just accept it and take it on as this my rule, this is the way that I am. I believe this. I'm going with that. Nothing else that you say matter. I heard this. I like this, and this way, I'm going to live by this. But with that, leaving enough to where like you were saying, like every time, you even think about remarrying, my husband picture will be up over the mantle too big and nobody better not touch it. And me and my husband was even having a conversation about life insurance and making sure that we have enough, and we need to finish up our will and stuff so that we'll know who gets what, because his right towards his kids and my right towards his kids could be different. What I think is right and what he think is right could be totally different in the same for my kids. So it's important, you know, to make sure that you have things in place, but to have enough so that you are able to like leave that legacy for your family. All these money talks are so important, but you know, we have to really absorb it and take it in and apply it, because it's not going to do us any good if we're not applying it. And that's what I am going to take on in my life, to make sure, you know, that I'm taking those steps to make sure that my family is, you know, that I'm leaving generational wealth for my kids, and make sure, you know, that, you know, that I have enough to where my debt is going to be paid off, and that, you know, that it will be some left for them to carry on. So thank you again for another amazing money talk.
Thank you, Miss Sheila Forbes. Absolutely. That's the goal. Like I said, the theme of today is become a legacy, not a memory. Miss Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning, Kenyon. Great talk. Really enjoyed it. Trying to take in all the information that I can, so that I can make some, you know, some really good, solid decisions for myself moving forward. So with that being said, earlier this week, you had mentioned the FIN number, and then today you're mentioning the dime method. Like, what do you use to determine if you have enough insurance, or could you use both?
The FIN number and the dime method, they're two different tools. Like your FIN number, that is used to discover how much you would need in retirement and how much you need to save to get to that need. The dime
Gotcha.
method, yeah, the dime method is to help you identify how much you need when you plan to own life insurance. So that way you can know how much you need, and then you can find out if it's affordable and if it's suitable at that point.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And then we have Shanta Meggie. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I thought that was a great money talk. I'm always so excited to join these talks and to continue to increase my knowledge. I can't even believe how much I've learned in the past couple of weeks just of joining WSB. And now I think about it and I'm like, wow, there's a stigma when it comes to life insurance, but you know, we're all gonna pass at some point. And you know, I guess as Keyon said, you know, we just wanna either be a memory or a legacy. And I know we work our whole lives, you know, wanting to take care of our family members and our friends and give gifts and etc. And now when I think about owning life insurance, I'm like, well, you know, if something happened to me, there would be money to buy my nieces and nephews gifts, or, you know, pay for my children's college education that I don't even have yet, or whatever it is. So now when I think about future planning, it really opens my eyes to so many different reasons why I should own life insurance. So thank you again, Keyon, for that wonderful money talk, and, you know, just continuing to empower us with this knowledge. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Absolutely, man. I'm telling you, Money Talk is a game changer, and we have the power to change the game. We just got to know the rules to play in the game. Today, you got another playbook. You now know why you need to own life insurance and how much. Right? And it's now for us to take the action, so that way we can become a legacy, not just a memory. All right? So what I want you guys to do, post on your Facebook today. That's the theme for today. Become a legacy, not just a memory. All right? So remember, your affirmations. Say, I am a legacy.
I am a legacy.
I am a legacy and not just a memory. I am a legacy and not just a memory. That's it.
Woo.
That's it.
Yes.
Those are powerful affirmations. because you go on to do extraordinary things in this world. But remember, put God first, and you make it way easier. All right? So, on the count of 3, let's all whoosh out. Let's get the day started and have a blessed Wednesday. 1, 2, 3. Let's whoosh. Whoosh. World team, one
World
team, one
one
dream,
dream,
one
one
sister,
dream,
one
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 cause.
system, one cause. Woo!
Legacy.
Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Have a great day.
A blessed day, everybody.